Hey dudes, and welcome to the third reviewed and ranked video. So first, Radiohead is a band that formed in 1985 with a singer, Tom York, who is a heck of a singer, and Colin Greenwood, who is the bass player, Johnny Greenwood, who plays the guitar, Ed O'Brien, who also plays the guitar, I think, Philip Selway playing the drums. This is not scripted, can you tell? So yeah. I am dumb. I don't know if you knew this about me, but I am dumb. I can't actually review these albums, so what I'm going to do is kind of give a general idea of how they make me feel. Because boy howdy, do they make me feel. And I'm still gonna rank them at the end. I think I can do that. Yeah, so let's do that. Alright, so first off, in the first three records, this doesn't apply to those ones, but I think that after those, Tom York feels a lot less like a traditional singer and more like just another instrument, another part of the vibe. Radiohead is not like a lot of other artists that make vibey songs, because these are not just vibe. These are a state of mind, a higher plane of mental existence or something. And so, yeah, the first three albums, Pablo Honey, I don't care about this album. I've only listened to it once. I mean to listen to it again at some point, but it's just really hard to want to. It just doesn't really do anything. The super mega hit single, Creep, that one's awesome. But the rest is like pretty generic. Like, I usually give artists some slack on the first record because, you know, they're just figuring out what they're doing. But here, it just really doesn't do anything. Next, The Bends. Okay, then, yeah, Pablo Honey was not really a sign of anything. Because The Bends is amazing. It's like way more regular rock and roll than their later stuff, which, you know, I like the later ones better, but this one, the rock and roll sound is pretty cool, especially on songs like Just, and, you know, Fake Plastic Trees, of course, is a classic. Yeah, and then even when it is like big rock and roll type of songs, they still are not necessarily talking about the most happy of things, which is a thing a lot of people say about Radiohead, that they're just so depressing, which I see in some ways, but for the most part I really don't get that. Maybe it's just because I find the lyrics hard to understand, but listening to Radiohead is actually it puts me in one of the best moods I can possibly be in. I have depression, and it can get pretty freaking dark sometimes. But Radiohead is transcendent. As cheesy as that might sound, I think it is one of the things that makes me feel closest to God, which is something I really need. It's something everyone needs. And I don't know if most people will find that here, but I have heard some other people say the same thing. I will say that I have a hard time getting immersed in things, just in in any kind of media or music or anything. But you give me a song like Weird Fishes or Daydreaming or like How to Disappear Completely, and I will get this, disappear completely into the song. That's deep. That's some deep crap right there. Yeah. Anyway, it's like a completely enveloping kind of atmosphere and vibe, and it is unmatched if you ask me. I do just realize I skipped over an album called OK Computer, the third album. Yeah, that one's the best of the first three, I think, especially Paranoid Android, which is absolutely sick. But that album still doesn't compare. In my opinion, Radiohead has 3 masterpieces, and I realize I said I can't even properly review these albums, so who am I to talk about their masterpieces, but I'm going to do it anyway. I think their masterpieces are Kid A, In Rainbows, and A Moon-Shaped Pool. A Moon-Shaped Pool, this probably isn't like the most popular opinion, but that is my favorite album by them. It's like the best of feelings to have. Have you, in case you hadn't realized, I kind of think of Radiohead as less of like regular music and more of just a feeling to get totally lost in. It's amazing. Yeah, there are some albums that are worse than others. I actually don't hate The King of Limbs as most people seem to. I didn't think it was nearly the best. It's kind of forgettable, but it was still pretty good. Nothing near the forgettability of Pablo Honey. I'll kind of try to give a reason why I like A Moon-Shaped Pool better than Kid A. Both of these albums are like absolute perfection all the way through, but if I had to pick one I think is like technically more impressive or whatever, it's probably Kid A, but there's just something about the like serene, open, airy kind of feeling, if that makes any sense, of A Moon-Shaped Pool that puts it over Kid A for me. Because Kid A is like kind of a little bit more creepy sounding, if you know what I mean. Which I like, but it's like the other way, just the Moon-Shaped Pool vibe just kind of does it for me personally more. And I don't know why Radiohead refuses to make another album. I hope they do sometime soon, because I'm probably going to end up listening to all of these except Pablo Honey like 1,000 times, and I don't want to get sick of any of them. I don't know if that's possible, but I don't want to find out. I have footage on the screen right now of Radiohead's In Rainbows from the Basement video on YouTube, and you should definitely watch these basement videos if you find out that you like Radiohead, or if you already do, especially the In Rainbows one, because like I said, I think that's one of the best Radiohead records. So yeah, to kind of sum up this whole messy spiel, I will say that basically the thesis of this video is that Radiohead makes me feel closer to God more than any Christian music has ever done by like 100 country miles, and I think that it's a good feeling to have. So now we should get to that tier list, shouldn't we? Although before we do that, I just have to say one random thing. Wolf at the Door at the end of Hail to the Thief. That is a weird song where Tom York basically raps. And I like it. Especially this line, because it's funny. Don't you dare. Okay, so first we got Pablo Honey. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't really do much, so I'm gonna probably put it in D. Then the Bends, a great step up from Pablo Honey, so yeah, that's gonna go B. And OK Computer, third album, I will definitely put that in A tier. That one's great. Next is Kid A. That one, the first experimental one, and what an experimental one it is, S tier. Next, Amnesiac. That one's, I think it's good. It just isn't like hugely different from Kid A, so A tier. And then Hail to the Thief. It's not like incredibly interesting or anything, but it's still really good. B tier. And after that, In Rainbows. One of the masterpieces, like I said, it brought kind of rock elements back into it, but it's still very much experimental weirdo music. A tier. And then, The King of Limbs. I said I like it more than most people. I'll put it in C tier because it's not amazing. And then for a moon-shaped pool, I think I'm just gonna have to add an entirely new tier for that. Yeah, that's fair. It's not unfair at all. So there we have it, the tier list.